Hi, welcome back. So let's go ahead and talk about adding folders. So adding folders is actually very, very intuitive. So what I want to focus on is really how to personalize and customize your folders for your classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and work out of my sandbox because I already have some things in there. And so as you can see, I already have a few folders in here, but I'm going to go ahead and add another one. So we go to add materials, click on add folder. And so here's where I'm going to add all of the little labeling details for my folder that the students will see. So I'm going to put here learning, if I can even spell, about Schoology. I can, of course, set a color for my folder. If you don't, it automatically defaults to this baby blue. So I'm going to go ahead and add a different color. And then the description is a description of what will the students see when they click on the folder. What's going to be inside of there? So maybe I want to give them a little heads up. I can, of course, write a statement. I can make a list. Totally up to you. So I'm going to put this folder contains resources to personalize Schoology. So once I have this in here, I can actually format my text. And so I can boldface it. I can, if I have several items, as I said, I could put a bulleted list. I can change the color. Let's go ahead and change that to purple. And so now my folder has a description. You'll notice that there are some date boxes here. You do not have to fill this in. The date boxes are if you are working ahead and you're starting to migrate things over, but you have information you're not ready for the students to see, and we know that we all have those eager students, then what you can do is you can set a date for that folder to publish, because right now it is set to default to publish, which means that once I hit create, the folder goes live, students can see whatever is inside of there. So the date says, we're going to go ahead and wait for another several weeks, months, whatever it is, before the folder publishes. And then once it's open, that's great. Once I have my date, you can either not put an end date, which means that once the folder is live, you can leave it up there forever. But if you are afraid that students may try to work on assignments that you have said, nope, I'm not taking this late, then you can also add an end date and then the folder will disappear. Now, it doesn't get deleted, it just disappears from student view. But I'm okay with it going live, so I'm going to hit create, and you can see that now I have my folder. But maybe I want to customize it just a little bit more. Maybe I know that I have a lot of visual learners, and so I want to maybe put something in there that can really show them what's inside of here. What are we going to be learning about? So when I go to my little wheel here, I can go to edit, and this little arrow with the box is insert content. So again, first of all, let me just go ahead and state, everything that we're doing is to the folder label. Anything that I put is going onto the folder label. It is not being added inside the folder. That is a completely different process. So I can add a video. Maybe there's a video I want them to watch before they actually start working in the folders. Maybe there's some information from my Google Drive. But in this case, I just want to add a picture. So I can either upload an image or I can get an image from the web. I've already picked out a picture. I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. This picture is kind of big. It's a little bigger than I'd like. So what I can do is I can work with my corners. Remember, we always size from the corners. We don't size from the sides because it makes it look all wonky. And I'm just going to go ahead and do an old-fashioned, just kind of dragging that to make that a little bit more manageable. So now I have my image plus my description. When I hit Save Changes, you can now see that I have an image that goes along with my folder. So maybe I'm studying cells. I want to go ahead and put a picture of a cell. Maybe I am studying black holes. I want to find a picture of recorded black holes. So the other problem I'm having, though, is apart from I didn't have a picture before, my folder's at the bottom. I really want this to be at the top. This is the unit we're going to be working on. This is what we're going to be focusing on. So what I can do is I can drag this up. So I can click on the title that I gave my folder. Now don't just click on it and let go. Click and hold. And now I can drag this up to where I want it to go. So I can put it here at the top. I can put it in the middle. It's totally up to me. So now we're ready to add materials to our folder. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this. The first is the way that I'm sure most of you know is just click on the folder itself. And now I can add materials. So I want to go ahead and add something from my Google Drive. So I'm going to go here to import from resources. Google Drive is considered an app in Schoology. So when I click on apps, you can see here is my Google Drive. And so I want to include this document of how to create videos. So when I click on that and go to import, you can see that I can either import the actual file or I can actually import a link. So I'm going to go ahead and import a file. Now if I import a file, what that's going to do is it's going to open up within Schoology in that window. So I'm going to import file. Again, just like anything else, the larger the file, the longer it takes to download. This is a very small file, and there it is. But, so by the way, this little arrow here is our back arrow. So let's say, however, I know many of you are working on migrating information over, and so you don't want to have to keep clicking different folders all the time. You know, like I have a bunch of information I need to migrate. Oh, okay, this goes here, and I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put this here. Clicking in and out is just time consuming. So if you notice, we have these little carrots over here, and you can see that it's facing towards the folder. However, if I click on the carrot, what it does is it opens the folder and you can see what's currently inside. Now what you also see are these little dotted lines with the plus sign. If I click on that dotted line with the plus sign, you can see that it gives me the same add materials pop-up. So I can go here and I'm going to go ahead and add a video link. So I click on link. I've already picked out the video link that I want to add. So I go ahead and put that onto the URL. I go ahead and title that. Oops. And so now when I click on add, that link will be added to my folder. Let me go ahead and show you very quickly. You'll notice that a couple of things are defaulted highlighted. The first is that the link is published to all students. If I only wanted to go to individual students, then I can click on these little three dots, and that's where I can individually assign links, documents, etc. The other thing is that when they click on this link, it will open up in Schoology, just like we saw with that document that was embedded inside of the Schoology page. I may want this to pop up in a different folder, a different screen, especially since I'm working with YouTube, and YouTube can be kind of weird. So when I click on that, you'll notice that that now has gone gray. And so now that means that when they click on the YouTube link, it will pop up in a new window. So I hit add, and we can see now I have my YouTube link in there as well as my documents. This only works, again, if your caret is facing down. If I click on my caret to point to my folder, this essentially closes the folder, and you can see my arrows have gone away. So let's say now my folders have everything I want in there, looking great. I don't want to have to keep rebuilding this every single time for every single class that I have. So what I can do is I can go here to, again, my little wheel, and you can see that it says copy to courses. So I'm going to click on copy to courses, and I want to go ahead and move this to my course. I hit copy folder. And so advanced settings, you can see, is, are you wanting to copy everything? Yes, I do. So I'm going to copy the entire folder over. And so now I'm going to go ahead and go to my senior class. When I click on it, there's my folder. So, and you can see when I click on the caret, all of my documents, materials that were in the folder have also copied over. So let me go ahead and show you one last thing that some of you might find useful when organizing your documents, materials, lessons, and so forth in Schoology. You'll notice that there is an options link up here. If you click on that, you can see where it says student completion. So when I click on student completion, what it's doing is it's saying, what do I want the student to have to do in order to be considered complete? Now, I do not have to do any kind of completion. That is a completely optional item for you. So I'm going to click on the folder. I'm going to go ahead and put on options, student completion. And so maybe I absolutely need the students to watch this video before they can do anything else. So I put view item. And so, but you know what? I also need them to look at that document as well. That's going to be pretty important before they work on the project I'm going to give them. So I add requirement, scroll down, and you can see here is that document. And then what do I want them to do? View the item. Now, if this was an assessment or a quiz, you would have more choices here. Excuse me. Maybe I want the items to be completed in a particular order. So you can see here, I can actually click on this. And so now it is telling the students, these items must be viewed in this order. So I'm going to say view item checklist or check mark. so that the student knows that they have to complete this in order to move on. So let's take a look at our course from the point of view of a student. So I'm going to go to View Course As. I'm going to click on Jacqueline Cruz. And so as you can see, this is what Jacqueline's going to see when she clicks on my course. She's going to see my folder. When she goes inside of there, she's going to see that there are several items that she has to complete for her to get through this. So she can see, okay, what have I accomplished? So right now, obviously, she has not viewed any of these items. So you can show that it shows 0% and in progress. So this is a way for her to kind of keep track of the things that she is required to do. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my course. And so when I click on the folder and I click on student progress, it shows me all of my students and it shows me what their percentage of completion is. So I can take a look at this and see, Jackie, you have not done any of the items that are required. So this is a way to just, again, kind of keep track of your students, making sure that they are doing whatever it is that you may need them to do, especially if it is building on top, each item is building on top of the other for your lesson. But again, that is something that is optional. I can choose to remove that, and you can see here, I can click on the student completion mark and I can go ahead and X those out, save the changes, and now there is no requirement of completion. They can view this at their leisure if that's what I want to do. So hopefully this has been very helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And again, have a great day.